Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. In this video, I'm going to take a look at the best Hearthstone decks to play after the big balance patch. And coming in at number 8, wait, what? Quest Warlock? Wasn't Warlock just nerfed? Indeed, Warlock was just nerfed, and the fatigue or OTK style of Quest Warlock did die with the nerfs. But this other style of Quest Warlock that runs with Flesh Giants, Battleground Battlemaster, this one is still a perfectly fine deck, and you can still play this one even though the quest is a little bit slower to complete. Actually, the main thing about the nerf that hits this one is that as the quest is a little bit slower to complete those phases, you don't get the lifesteal effect, so you don't discount your Flesh Giant as quickly. Because this deck was never really about completing your quest, that was only like your alternative win condition. The main win condition, Flesh Giant. Then coming in at number 7 is what was the best deck before the balance patch, the Secret Paladin. And not a single card has been changed. Secret Paladin is still perfectly fine in this form. It's just that the meta isn't as favorable to it anymore. It's strong against these quest decks, but there are fewer quest decks around. There are still a lot of quest mages though. And its weaknesses against some of these aggressive aggro druids, some of these mid-range decks like elemental shamans, are a little bit more pronounced. Alternatively, you can also play the Handbuff Paladin. You also don't have to change anything in Handbuff Paladin deck. It's not featured here in top 8, but it will probably go into a top 10 list. It is slightly weaker than Secret Paladin and that Quest Warlock, but it's not far at all. Coming in at number 6 is what is currently the most popular deck, Quest Mage. I really don't see why Quest Mage is the most popular deck, because Quest Mage, while it's okay, like number 6, that's not bad, but it's by no means the best deck in the game. The old Quest Mage list is still the best, you don't need to change anything. I still like the Apex's Blast list, it's a perfectly fine deck. Coming in at number 5 is Face Hunter. Face Hunter is also still a strong deck, it's lost some of its targets, a few quest decks around, and then these elemental shamans, aggro druids, even big warriors are in the game now, so it's a little bit more hostile meta for Face Hunter, but Face Hunter is still overall doing just fine. There are multiple variations of the deck. There are small changes like are there Guardian Orc Merchants, are there Wriggling Horrors, maybe there's Cult Neophytes, just alternating between some of those cards. All of these versions seem to be doing pretty well, but the one that looks the best right now is the one with Guardian Orc Merchants and Wriggling Horrors. A bunch of mid-range decks are doing well now after the patch, and coming at number 4 is the Felrattle Demon Hunter. I tried to look deep into the statistics on Felrattle Demon Hunter and Deathrattle Demon Hunter. The two are very, very similar. The main difference is that the Felrattle one runs a little bit more Fel spells and it runs Chase Darkweaver as the finisher, whereas the Deathrattle version runs fewer Fel spells and Illidire Inquisitor is the main finisher. Both decks are perfectly playable at the moment, they have very similar matchup spreads as well, but the main difference in the matchup spread is that Felrattle Demon Hunter is quite a bit better against Aggro Druid, and Aggro Druid is really strong, so I advise to play Felrattle instead of the Deathrattle variant. At number 3 we have another mid-range deck, the Elemental Shaman. I was a little surprised actually when I noticed that the Elemental Shaman build that was currently performing the best was running only one legendary card, and that legendary card is also actually a core set card, so no legendary cards, just 2 epics, so this is the cheapest top tier deck at the moment. Instructor Fireheart has often been used in this archetype, but now this one just replaces it with a Menacing Nimbus, and it seems to be doing slightly better than the version that runs 1 Nimbus and 1 Fireheart. Coming in at number 2 is the biggest winner of the patch, the Libram Paladin. Libram Paladin right now looks like the strongest Paladin deck, stronger than the Secret version, stronger than the Handbuff version. Its main weaknesses are those quest decks. It's still a little bit slow sometimes to beat quest decks, but there are fewer quest decks around, and this one is really good in mid-range mirrors, it's really good against aggro decks. I think there's still probably some refinement to be done with Libram Paladin. I have been experimenting with lists that have a little bit more threats and a little bit fewer clears myself, but of the lists that had a good sample size, this one is performing the best at the moment. But the best deck in the game at the moment, that's Aggro Druid. Aggro Druid is just very, very powerful. There's a bit of polarized matchup spread because it has a ton of really super strong matchups, and then it has a bunch of really weak matchups, Quest Mage, Quest Shaman, Big Warrior. But on the other hand, those matchups are really bad for Aggro Druid, then there are other decks that counter them quite effectively, so we'll see how popular Aggro Druid can become and still maintain its status as the top dog. You may have noticed that I didn't feature any decks from Priest. Priest is not doing well. The nerf to Illusia, removing that from Aggro Shadow Priest, that really hurt the deck, and Priest doesn't have any even near contenders for top tier decks at the moment. Then there's Rogue and Warrior. They also don't have any decks featured here, but Big Warrior seems to be a playable deck actually. Quest Warrior looks like a playable deck. Warrior has a couple of these decks that are above 50% win rate, but they are still going through refinement. I couldn't really find an individual list that I could heartily recommend. And as for Rogue, well, Garrote Rogue was not nerfed, some people still like to play that even though the statistics are showing that it's not that great, and the best looking Rogue deck at the moment is actually Quest Rogue. But Quest Rogue also needs a bunch of refinement for this current meta, and I couldn't find a list that would be solid enough yet. But perhaps in a week or two we might see some big Warrior or Quest Rogue lists that I could feature in this list. Until then, enjoy your aggro druids. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and check out my Twitch channel.